penalty sliders in Madden 24 actually have a huge impact on gameplay. Now, if you've been a part of the Madden slider community or even the NCAA football slider community for a while, this may not come as a surprise to you. But if you're newer to the scene or you think sliders work the same way they do in maybe a game like 2K, you might learn something from today's video. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the penalty sliders. We'll talk about some of the additional effects that they have on gameplay, aside from just causing more penalties. And I'm going to make some specific recommendations on how we can use this new information to enhance our gameplay experience. If you guys do like this video, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Other than that, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys, so we are here in the penalty slider menu. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these penalty sliders and try to explain what they do based on my testing. I believe it to be accurate. We may find out things later, but this is what I believe to be true. And then I'm going to make some suggestions based on my prior slider set on how we can tweak these to get better gameplay. I'll include some gameplay examples as well. So we'll start with the first one, offsides. Now, if you guys are like me, you may have come into these sliders and said, well, Madden doesn't have enough penalties, so we're just going to put everything at 100 and just think they're going to call more penalties. And they might, but it actually has huge implications on the gameplay and it can affect the game pretty negatively. So that's why I advised in my previous slider video for you to leave everything at default. So I want to start with the offside slider, and this is what I found. And we're kind of going to group these together, but the offside slider, the false start slider, the holding slider, and for whatever reason, the roughing the passer slider seem to all work together when it comes to blocking and the aggressiveness of blitzing players. I should have also mentioned the face mask one here too. What I have noticed for the offside slider is the higher you have it, the easier it is for defensive linemen to shed blocks in run block situations. I haven't really noticed an effect on pass blocking, but it's got a huge impact on run block shedding. My logic is I'm thinking that with offsides higher, they're just doing their very best to jump the snap and be as aggressive as possible. With it lower, I found that defensive linemen could barely ever break out of blocks on run plays. So me personally, I was trying to make the run game harder. So I brought this all the way up to 99 to max it out. False start, I found operates the exact same way, but in the opposite way. So for example, I found that with it at 99, guys were getting a lot of pancake blocks. Guys were being very aggressive. With false start at 0, they were not as aggressive and not getting as many pancakes. So me trying to make the run game a little bit harder, I put this at 0. Let's talk a little bit about the offensive holding. What I noticed with the holding is the higher that you put this slider, really I'll say the longer linemen were able to hold onto into an engagement. I noticed that when I put this at 0, I had offensive holding at 0. Guys were coming right off blocks, getting in the backfield, being very aggressive. So I put this at 0 again, trying to really tone down the read option, trying to tone down quarterback runs. That's what I did for this one. When you look at the face mask penalty, what I noticed was this really had a big impact on how aggressive guys were in the way that they tackled. So when I put face mask all the way at 0, I noticed a lot of wrap-up tackles and basic tackles that weren't large hits. When I cranked this all the way up to 100, not only did we notice more face masks, not too many, but more, there were a lot more hit sticks. There were a lot more strips. There was a lot more crushing blows. So I left that at 99 to increase the aggressiveness of the defense. I took a look at the illegal block in the back. Now, I'll be honest, I could not notice any difference in this slider, so I decided to leave it alone. I couldn't notice any difference at 99, couldn't notice anything at 0, so I left it. Guys, roughing the passer. Let me tell you right now, this is the most important slider that we will be dealing with here. Now, you'll notice at 0, when I put roughing the passer, actually, sorry, I want to start this at 99. When I put roughing the passer at 99, I noticed my linebackers, they were flat-footed. They were just standing there. They were letting guys in the run game run right by you. Guys, when I put roughing the passer at 0, it was like the players played with reckless abandon. They were attacking, getting in the backfield, attacking on run plays, blowing up run plays in the backfield, chasing down the quarterback, just really playing more downhill. That's what I'm looking for, so that's why I put this at 0. Now, one of the biggest complaints with all Madden this year, guys, that I've noticed is the pass coverage, specifically on the user, is not very good. Sometimes defenders, guys, play like they're clueless. Now, through here, guys, you might be saying, I don't know, this seems like placebo. None of this stuff might seem true. Guys, let me explain how the defensive pass interference slider works. If you put this at 100 because you want more defensive pass interference, guys play scared because they don't want to get flagged. That's why the defensive backs are so passive. If you put this at 100, or excuse me, if you put this at 0, guys play with reckless abandon. They're hitting the defenders. They're diving for swats and interceptions. Don't just take my word for it. Look at the footage. The footage I'm about to show you is all Madden with defensive pass interference on 0. Now, you tell me if your user defensive backs were playing this aggressive in game on the default. I bet you they weren't. Guys, I took a look at ineligible receiver downfield. I could not notice any difference with this, so I didn't touch it. I left that where it was. Offensive pass interference works the same as defensive pass interference, but there's no slider. It's only on and off. So I actually turned this off to make my receivers be a little bit more aggressive, fight for jump balls a little bit more. That way they don't play afraid of actually being flagged for offensive pass interference. I messed around with kick catch interference. I didn't notice any specific changes there, but so I just left that one alone. If anyone else notices something, you can let me know. Guys, intentional grounding is one of the biggest ones here. Intentional grounding, make sure you turn it off. Now, if you do turn off intentional grounding, don't just abuse it and throw the ball away while you're in the pocket, because that just gives you an unfair advantage. But what I found, guys, in my slider sets, I like the CPU to have very low accuracy so that they sometimes overthrow the football. But in past Maddens, this was frowned upon in the slider community because it caused quarterbacks just to dink and dunk. What I found was that with the intentional grounding slider off, quarterbacks are much more willing to throw the ball deep down the field, and that's exactly what we want. Make sure you turn intentional grounding off. Roughing the kicker and running into the kicker, I have both off. It really functioned exactly how roughing the passer did. I noticed much more aggressiveness on all facets of the game from defenders with these being turned off. I'm talking not special teams plays, just normal defense. I do not know why, but these two settings act almost as like a universal aggressiveness slider for the game. Another that you want to make sure you turn off is illegal contact. This one has a big impact on pass defense. I noticed that my defenders were much more willing to go for swats and dive for knocking passes down when I had illegal contact turned off. One really important thing about illegal contact, however, though, is if you do turn it off and you save your settings and you go to import this into your franchise, for whatever reason, it turns itself back on. So make sure you go into your options and turn this off. It has a huge impact on the way your defenders play pass defense. Guys, these penalty sliders are not perfect. They don't make the game perfect, but I noticed a noticeable difference in CPU run defense and user pass defense with my sliders and these penalty sliders used together. In the future, I'm going to come up with a full slider set incorporating this new information, but for now, try these penalty sliders with the former slider set that I just put out a few days ago and let me know what your results are. I think you guys will be impressed. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out if you want to hear more about Madden, and obviously 2K is coming out soon. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this is all bull crap? Do you think it's fake? You know what I mean? I can only go by what I'm experiencing. But thank you so much for the support on the channel, guys. I'll catch y'all in the next one. It's your boy Shady. I'm signing out. Peace. Threes.